Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Larkin, one half of the S&M Show podcast, and I'm back today with another interview. I am on the line with the very talented Ring of Honor competitor, Women of Honor competitor. Ring of Honor's got Best in the World this Friday on pay-per-view. One of its great competitors in the Women of Honor division. I'm on the line with Miss Stella Gray. Stella, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Man, I got to tell you right now, I love your work. I love what you did with Sumi Sakai. I love what you're doing with Kelly Klein. Just all around, you're a great competitor, and I'm very happy to be talking to you. We're going to cover a lot of ground.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's humbling.
It is. Well, it is. Like I said, you're a dojo graduate, the great Ring of Honor dojo, which we're going to touch upon. So I got to say, there's going to be a lot to cover, and it's just great just to be talking to you. I love what I do. So what I do with my guests is, first and foremost, talk about growing up. Who were some of your favorite wrestlers, and what was that defining moment, or it could have been a matchup that you said, you know what, this is what I want to pursue, that being professional wrestling?
Well, I always watched it like as a young kid. My brothers, I grew up closer in age to my brothers than my sister, and they were always fans of it. So I remember like being a wee toddler, like kind of watching it. But it wasn't until my brother was watching this. At the time, I didn't know what it was, ECW, and it was Beulah McGillicuddy versus Fonzie, and it was originally a tag match, but then I can't remember. Somebody got hurt. I can't remember if it was Tommy Dreamer or Rob Van Dam. So then it kind of broke down just to Beulah versus Fonzie, and it was a very hardcore match. Like, I didn't see wrestling like that, where people were bleeding and there were weapons. It just kind of, it stops you in your tracks, basically, when you're like, what is this? And Fonzie was bloody. And like I say all the time, it wasn't a technical wrestling match. ECW, especially with the women, was not known for their technical wrestling. But she beat the crap out of a guy and she won. And in my little tiny mind, it just blew my brain. And I was just like, what is this? And how, like, a girl can fight a guy, and she won. And I'm like, this is not. It wasn't heard of back then. Even though it wasn't a technical wrestling match, it just kind of put a seed in my head that girls could do anything and girls can beat up guys too. So I always kind of, since then, was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I could beat guys up. Like, I grew up with brothers and I was a tomboy, and they never handled me with kitten gloves, and they beat me up a little bit to toughen me up. So that kind of spoke to me in like a visceral way, I guess. And it was based out of Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. It just, I don't know, like any ECW fan you talk to back in the day, they're very passionate, they say hardcore fans. It is. I don't know how to describe it. Like, if you were a fan, it just kind of it sucked into your heart and soul. And like, the guys at the dojo still make fun of me to this day that I'm such a fan. And like, if they talk crap, I literally will get very upset and pissed off. And I probably will want to fight them. I probably will hit them if they talk any trash about ECW, because it's my heart and soul of wrestling, and it's what got me passionate about the business. So yeah.
Well, Miss Gray, I'll say this to you right now. That match, man, Tommy Dreamer and Beulah McGillicuddy against Rob Van Dam and Bill Alfonso, the 5 minutes that they had, Bill Alfonso donning the proverbial crimson mask, Beulah doing the ECW dropkick with like Tommy Dreamer with the chair, the whole thing where she does the Hurricane Rana on him. It was great for like how many minutes it was, because like you said, Rob Van Dam and Tommy Dreamer were brawling, that dynamic that Beulah and Bill Alfonso had. Bill Alfonso, who's not a wrestler, and Beulah McGillicuddy, who you would hardly ever see get in the ring, but still, the dynamic that they had was just excellent, and it told a great story.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved every second of it. Yeah, I don't know. I can like remember vivid little pieces of that, like her standing there with her arms stretched out, just like Tommy, or like the sheet pan, like a cookie sheet pan, beating him over the head with it. Like, I was so little, but it's like a vivid memory in my head, that match. So
that's a great memory to have. It's the original ECW, and I don't know why'd you talk crap. I mean, it's the original ECW. It was a big integral part of what professional wrestling has become to this day. So I applaud you for that. Original ECW for life. I was a big original ECW fan. You got to see a lot of great talents come from there, whether it be also in their WCW runs, their WWE runs, and just further, first and foremost, once again, it changed. It was "Join the Revolution" was the catchphrase for ECW. So it really did. It was a revolution.
Yeah, that's what I get. So when people talk so much crap, I say like drop knowledge on them. Like, just to let you all know, like Steve Austin with ECW, Chris Jericho was in ECW. Lance Storm was in ECW. Like, all these great people that moved on and you would never guess, they started there. Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, like, all of them were in ECW. They started there, and that's how it, whatever. I fully believe ECW changed the course of wrestling, so people can talk crap whatever they want. I know, and I think deep down everybody else knows how influential ECW was in the wrestling business. So, whatever. Let people hate on they hate. It's Philly. People hate on Philly, too, so brush off the shoulder. They can say what they say, but I know the truth.
I gotta tell you right now, listening to you, I could definitely see you as the great Miss Jazz that was in ECW, just beating up the men like she did with Jason back in the day in the original ECW, so I could compare you to Jazz if you were around that time.
Her arms and legs, like, I remember, like, I was too young to go in the beginning. I didn't really get to go to the shows until, like, the last year that they were in business, like, not WWE owned, like, actual Paul Heyman owned. And I remember seeing her and like just being like in awe of how huge her arms and like thighs were. I'm like, that girl is huge. Like, she could kick anybody's ass.
And I'll say this right now, man, you talk about, yes, ECW had the hardcore element, but man, you had wrestlers like Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, Psychosis up in there doing their thing. You had Benoit and Malenko putting on classics. You had Eddie Guerrero. You had Too Cold Scorpio. So you got a nice blend and dynamic with the original ECW.
Yeah, so I loved ECW. ECW was deeper than what people think it is.
Yeah, we could go all day about this, but I'm just saying, it's just like, man, people want to hate, oh, it's garbage wrestling, or Jerry Lawler back in the day with the extremely crappy wrestling that he used to call it, and then you see him, doing an angle there, but it's just like, man, you gotta represent the EC dub.
Yeah, I definitely do. I wish my mom threw away all my T-shirts because she hated it so much, and I wish especially now that I'm in the business, like, I would do anything to come to the ring in like an ECW shirt. I gotta like go on eBay, but I don't feel like it's good. I remember I bought them at the arena, and I'm very upset. So whoever like got it at some thrift store or something, you better wear it with pride.
I gotta ask you, as far as ECW goes, and then we'll move on. We'll have you tell your story. But I gotta ask you, did you have the ECW video game? I believe one was for Hardcore Heaven. I know they had...
Yes, of course. If it was anything came out with ECW, I bought it. Like, anything. There was an album that came out, or a CD, was that? And it was like their theme music.
Yep.
It wasn't their actual theme music. It was like covers of it, because I guess they didn't have like the correct license. I think, if I remember this vividly, kind of. Mm-hmm. But I remember the video game. I remember they had action figures for a short bit. I used to have like a denim jacket that was signed by at least half, if not more than half of the roster, and that somehow went missing when I moved, and I so heartbroken of that, because that would be worth a lot of money right now, but more so like it's all ECW and all the wrestlers are signed. But yeah, if anything ECW put out, I bought. So yes.
All right, I feel you. I'll tell you right now. I'll give you a funny story. I'll say early teens, maybe preteen Mike Larkin. I'm in FYE. I'm in Long Island, New York. I'm just rolling down looking at the wrestling DVDs. And what catches my eye that I bought, it's an old ECW DVD. It's the very best of Cactus Jack. That has to be in my collection. So I purchased it that day. And I was so happy that I bought it because it was a great DVD.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know. And besides, Cactus and Mikey Whipwreck, that's another one. You talk about Steve Austin, ECW. Steve Austin put over Mikey Whipwreck. Mikey Whipwreck can say, hey, I beat Stone Cold Steve Austin, or Steve Austin at the time, for the ECW World Championship. So there's a notch for you.
Yeah, exactly. I still love Mikey Whipwreck. Where was I just recently that I saw him and everybody was like laughing at me because I lost my... New Orleans for Supercard. And Joey Janela does like this huge show around wherever... I can't remember if it's like the night before. I think it's like Friday night, because obviously WrestleMania is Sunday. Ring of Honor, we usually have our pay-per-view Saturday, but Joey Janela always does like this huge show, and it starts at midnight, and he does like this rumble. I think it's just called Beach Party, where there's no rules, just people come into I think 20 people. I don't even know how many people are in this one match, but Mikey Whipwreck came out this year, and I was like, "This is what?" And all the guys like pointing and laughing, like, "Oh, look at her lose her mind! Look at Stella!" I was like, "Shut up! Let me live in this moment right now." So yeah, I still fan out. When
you have people. No idea. I will lose my shit for some Mikey Whipwreck. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something right now. I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina now. When I was on Long Island, New York, I used to go to the New York Wrestling Connection shows that Mikey Whipwreck was on. You got people coming out of there like Brian Myers and Brett Matthews, better known as Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
You got people like Tony Nese, the whole nine. The first time I saw Mikey Whipwreck do his thing, he was wrestling a gentleman by the name of Dan Dynasty, excuse me. And man, I was not too far from this. They did a hardcore master brawling all around the arena, and wha-pow! Fireball right to the face of Dan Dynasty. I'm like, I'm like a couple feet away from this fireball, and I'm losing my mind. I'm like, oh snap, it's a fireball. I'm losing my crap. So yeah, I can relate. I can definitely relate. Now, you talk about being a tomboy as well. Now, growing up, besides wrestling, what other, I guess, like sports, or what else were you into besides professional wrestling?
Well, I played soccer. God, I feel like I played soccer for my whole entire childhood. And then my brothers played hockey, but I grew up in a strict Catholic school and family that, sorry, that was my dog. That girls weren't allowed to play ice hockey. So my brothers would practice in the street and play street hockey. So I would always play with them. And that's another way I kind of learned how to fight because, again, rules don't apply, I guess, when you're playing street hockey. I played, funny enough, I played a little bit of basketball, even though I'm very short and it's laughable. So yeah, I played a couple of different stuff, but yeah.
I'll show my age of this as well. So when you're playing that basketball, were you like the legendary Mr. Curtis Blow? Was basketball your favorite sport? You like the way they dribble up and down the court? Were you doing your thing as far as on the b-ball courts or just as far over on the basketball? No,
I will fully admit I sucked at basketball. I think the only reason they made me do it is because my sister did it, and they thought like I would like it too. I did not. I hated it. I couldn't get a free throw. Like what? God, I'm not even a basketball fan. That shows how badly I paid attention when I played. It's not called a penalty shot. Is it called a penalty shot?
Yes.
It is.
It's okay, like that, yeah. Yep.
I couldn't shoot it overhand. I had to swing it between my legs, and I couldn't do free throws like correctly. They called me like twinkle toes because they said I would like jump up and my feet would shake like twinkly. I don't know. So clearly I was not ever meant for basketball.
Well, yeah,
so no, I had no swag. I had nothing. I didn't know how to do anything.
No crossovers, no layups.
No, they literally just let me like run and pass until I got like somebody hit me or penalized, and then I had to shoot. And I was like, oh god, I don't wanna.
So pretty much what you're telling me is you are not going to be the next Lisa Leslie, and you're not going to be doing the WNBA thing.
Nope, no way. I am 5'2" now. There's no way I'm doing any of that.
No, and what's great about, I got to say this as well. I want to talk about intergender wrestling as well, because you brought up Beulah and Fonzie, which was a great, like I mentioned, great dynamic. I got to say, I love the intergender wrestling and what it's coming to fruition. I think Lucha Underground does a great job with that. I think intergender wrestling as a whole is great. I've seen what they've done on the indies. James Ellsworth, who is now back with the WWE, did his homage, I would like to call it, to what Andy Kaufman did back in the 80s with the Intergender Championship of the World belt. Yeah. And, I got to say, just intergender wrestling as a whole, and just, it's amazing just to see guys and girls dynamic. I know a lot of people like, with the whole, guys sitting on girls. No, I'm like, but you girls could kick our butts, and I'll say this right now. I know you're out there just wanting to kick guys' butts, and I'm just saying, you girls could give us a run for our money. So equality all the way on that.
Yeah, I actually was just on. I don't know if it was his last show. It had to be one of his last shows. James Ellsworth. He was on a show in Rockville, Maryland, with me. And it was him versus Sue Young for the intergender, and it was a great match. And I was like, oh, this is kind of crazy. Well, you never doubted Sue Young could kick his ass. Not 1 second. You couldn't, because Sue Young is super talented and a little bit crazy. If anything, you're like, Sue's going to win this match. Like, no offense to James Ellsworth. Like, you went in thinking, Sue's winning this. Like, no offense, but you ain't going to survive this match. There's no way. So, yeah, it kind of... I don't know, like, there's people that have certain feelings about it, which I fully understand. Like, I know, I'm trying to remember who said this, and I understand the feeling behind it. Like, in an intergender match, the male should never close fist punch a girl. Like, that's just crossing a line, which I kind of understand. It is, like, it's very taboo seeing that, even if whatever people want to think about. Yeah, I don't know. I'm the only girl at the dojo, so I train with guys only. So I'm just kind of used to it. So I don't think certain stuff bugs me as much. We will slap each other across the face as hard just to like get in the just to get pissed off. I'm like, come on, is that really all you got? Like, and to me, that's not any different than if a girl did it. Like half the time, the guys say I go lighter on girls than I do on them, which makes me laugh because I don't realize it, but maybe I do, because I think the guys can handle a lot more stiffer, harder punches and stuff like that, and maybe I don't really want to hurt girls. I don't know. So it makes no sense. Like it doesn't. If anything, then I have a feeling like I'm a dude and I don't want to hurt a girl when I'm a girl fighting a girl. It makes no sense. So intergender, I think there's still some work to be done for everybody to kind of not get behind it, but not be still a taboo thing. But the fact that there are so many matches, not just with Lucha, but indie shows too doing it, and even WWE doing the intergender tag, there wasn't really that much with guys and girls completely, but I think it will be like a common thing within. I don't want to put a timeline on it, but I'd say like probably under 5 years. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal anymore. I think it's going to be really almost happen on every single show, no matter what show you go to.
I gotta say this as well before we get to your story here. We talk about the dojo, talk about opponents, talk about best in the world. You mentioned you had the ECW video game. Did you have a favorite wrestling video game growing up?
Probably ECW.
Was it probably ECW? Okay.
I think I played the other. I don't think I did. Like, no. I remember my brothers kind of had the control of the video game console because it was theirs. So I didn't really get much time, but when I bought this, I think they knew how crazy I was, that if I didn't at least get to play it, that I'd probably hurt them badly in their sleep or something. I don't know. So they let me only play that game, but they wouldn't let me play like anything else. And I don't really remember being interested in any other wrestling games. Like yes, I get made fun. I was that big of an ECW fan where I was like, screw everything else. I don't like the other product. That's crap. ECW's the best. So yeah, that's why I still get made fun of to this day.
Not from me. Like I said, I totally understand where you're coming from on that front. So that's all right with me on that front. I'll give you a funny story as well. I remember 2004. So this was the year of the first when WWE started getting into those SmackDown versus Raw video games. The very first one that came out in 2004. That was my Christmas gift from my parents, and I'm gonna tell you right now. You didn't see me for the rest of that night. Once I got that SmackDown versus Raw video game, boy, I was hooked to the tube for the rest of the night. It was so funny because my mom's like, yeah, just once you got that video game, you were just, I'm like, yeah, because I want to break it in. I want to play. I want to get into the mode, man. So, yes. So yeah, but now I gotta digress. But let's get into the Ring of Honor dojo. Talk about training, the whole experience at the Ring of Honor dojo, who you trained by at the dojo, because the Ring of Honor dojo facility is an amazing facility. Such great up and comers like yourself are there training and on the grind. Talk about training and who were you trained at the Ring of Honor dojo.
Well, my head trainer is Delirious, and then my other trainers are Will Ferrara and Cheeseburger. So it's a very eclectic group of three very different people, different personality, different style of wrestling. So, which is a good thing, I take it, because it's all different styles. Will's very technical, certain like hand movements or like he could hold your wrist a certain way and you're like, ah, ha, 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 and tap in like 2 seconds. Burger, I think, takes a lot of influences from Japan, and a little bit of like lucha, a little bit Mexico, I feel like, as well. And then Delirious is just kind of crazy freestyle. Like, you can never predict where he's coming from, what he's going to do. So, but he just has like a wealth of knowledge of all different styles. And I just getting in the ring with Delirious is like, and he would randomly pick a person. He's like, all right, you're going to wrestle me tonight. And you'd have a heart attack because you're wrestling Delirious. But not only that, it was never like a 5-minute match. It was a 30-minute match where you were panting for your life, begging for it to be over. But yeah, no, he would never let you quit and never let you win. Like, if you tried to like stay for the 3 count, he would pick you up and be like, no, we're not done yet. But the first I don't joke. I'm not lying. But the first 2 months of training, I call it like boot camp. It really is hell. It they do it because they need to make sure you're up to par, like not athletically, but just I guess it's like cardio. It's calisthenics. It's this crazy form of yoga. It's kind of like CrossFit too. It's just putting your body through the limit to see how much you can handle and to see, God's honest truth, to see if you quit. If you quit within the first week or two, you're definitely not going to make it the rest of the way, because the first 2 months are hard, but if you can deal with the hell that is the first 2 months, you can deal with the bumps and the bruises that are going to come along the rest of the way. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. There's so many. I know, like going in there, I was really scared and nervous, but the guys there were just very. I don't know how to describe it. It's a very much a family vibe. All those guys I consider brothers, like Shaheem Ali. I joke. He doesn't like that I call him this, but he's my protective older brother. Like he had my back since day one. He knew I was scared and nervous, and I was the only girl, but he was always just helpful and motivating me, and he has this great vision for me of what's to come for me long before I could even see what he was talking about. But we all motivate each other, and as much as it sucks with certain days, or if we need to push each other, if we need to slap each other in the face is hard, like get your head in the game, we do that for one another. But no matter what, it's like certain days suck, but it's your family. And I would honestly take a bullet for any one of those guys. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to really say. If you have any questions, training, yeah, it's multiple days a week, and I don't know. It's intense, but it's the most positive environment I've ever been in, and I've made such great relationships. So the suck is far less compared to the positive.
Okay, all right. Now I gotta say, I believe are you going into a year into your career now? Maybe like a year and a half. Am I tracking that right?
I haven't had my what do you call it, my wrestling anniversary.
Okay. Yes.
I've had my training anniversary. I started training October. Wait, I gotta get this date straight. See, the year messes me up. I know it was October 17th, but it couldn't be 2017 because that was just this past year. So it had to be October 2016.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That I started. Yes, because in October this year it'll be 2 years I started training. Oh God, I can't do math that well. I know. Okay, so I know I started training before my first match was 8 months after the first day I walked through the dojo, and my wrestling anniversary will be July 16th. So I'm coming up on my year.
Okay. Because I gotta say, in this amount of time, like I've told you before, with the utmost sincerity and respect to you, you've done well. I have enjoyed watching you put that grind in the ring. We're going to get to your opponents now, and I want to talk about some of the great matches that you had. First and foremost, I gotta talk about getting in the ring with Bonesaw Jesse Brooks.
Yeah, it's weird to say like you love somebody that beats the crap out of you, but I love Bonesaw. Just because I see a lot of similarities in Bonesaw and Kelly Klein. As soon as you look across that ring, you better bring your A game because they're gonna beat the crap out of you if you don't, and you need. But it makes you get yourself to a different level where you're like, I'm gonna fight tooth and nail, and you are not gonna get the best of me, and it makes you step up your game, and I respect that a lot. And they're very intense, and their attitude of they don't take crap from anybody, and damn well not going to take any disrespect from anybody standing across the ring either. So Bonesaw is intense, but she is extremely talented. I call her like the queen of like suplexes because she knows way too many and knows how to flip me into them way too easily. So yeah, she's amazing. Was a trainee at the ROH dojo too, so that's like good company. I wish I could have been there training with her at the time, but she was training a little bit before me.
Now, you see, a name that you mentioned I was actually going to have next was Kelly Klein, who was another tremendous competitor. And I actually had to fact-check one of my buddies on this, because you talk about fact-checking with ECW. You know your name, and I'm not going to mention, but you know when I'm talking about you on this show. So I'm just going to say this right now. My dude's like, oh, Kelly Klein, she's just in the Women of Honor. She really hasn't been that long. And I'm like, bro, she was trained by the legendary Les Thatcher, who has trained guys like Nigel McGuinness, Dean Ambrose, and many people that you see on TV now. So don't you tell me about Kelly Klein. So anyway, I had to fact check my dude on this, and I'm like, come on, man. Do not be ignorant to professional wrestling and the success that Miss Kelly Klein has had. So I digress once more. Talk about working with Kelly Klein, because you two have had amazing chemistry as well.
Yeah, there's this, I don't know who took the picture in Vegas, but I didn't realize she's really taller than me. You don't realize that at the time. Like, I know she's a very formidable opponent, and I know, like, size-wise she was bigger than I was. I didn't realize how much taller she was, and the fact that me trying to do certain stuff was just kind of comical, because I'm like, what? You needed to go in with a way better game plan than you did. I'm not going to lie, I went in with, like, a Philly attitude, thinking, like, she might be tough, but I don't care. I'm from Philly. I can handle anything. But she was not messing around. She's very strong. I'm like impressed by her strength, and like I love her tagline of "pretty badass." Like, just because she's strong and she looks like people joke like the resting bitch face, whatever, or she looks like she's going to rip your head off. That doesn't mean she's not a beautiful, feminine woman as well, and she can be that and also kick your ass at the same time. Like, I love that thing. So I have an immense respect for Kelly Klein just because of that, and she is amazing. Like, I will always respect where it's due, and it definitely is. And I think a little bit after that match, I might have earned a little bit of respect for her, because she does give me advice from time to time. Maybe she knows, like, the fact that I survived that match. I don't know how, because I really thought my face was shattered. But yeah, I know Kelly's a force to be reckoned with, and I see huge things coming for her. I like the whole entire Women of Honor division, but you can't deny Kelly's intenseness, I guess.
I gotta say this, I know the face you're talking about. It's that mean mugging, shoulder shrugging. Kelly's about to rip some heads off, but man, I gotta tell you right now, I've had Kelly on this show, and I've told her this straight up. I said, Kelly, you're probably one of the most professional and sweetest people out there, and she'll go, shh, because, I'm sorry, I blew your cover, miss, I'm going in there. I got that, like I said, that mean mugging, shoulder shrugging. She's very intense in the ring, but man, she's probably one of the nicest people outside the ring.
Luckily, I haven't. I don't want to say luckily, because I would like a rematch. I don't want to say luckily. That's a bad choice of words. But speaking with her, she is one of the nicest people. I wouldn't just say in the business, but I've met in my life. And like, I see her. I haven't been on a plane with her, but I see like she does like little care packages for like the flight attendants. I'm like, who does that? That's like a good human being, and who would even think of that? Like, so it just speaks to Kelly's character as well, with little things like that.
And I see your attitude again there, miss. I'm from Philly. Yeah, she's probably not that tough. I see that ECW for life in you. Join the revolution. Oh. Okay. So, apologize for that, folks. A little ringing alarm in the background there. That's all right. You had the dog barking. I got the alarm going. So, hey, we're having fun on the show tonight. So, all right. Now, let's talk about, we talked about Kelly. We talked about Bonesaw Jesse Brooks. Let's talk about, now, the Women of Honor tournament. I love the tournament. Sumi Sakai is the Women of Honor champion, women's champ. You got to work with Brandy Rhodes in the qualifier. Talk about working with Brandy Rhodes.
Oh God, I was so nervous for that match. Because it was in the ECW arena, and I literally found out about having that match maybe 4 days max prior, and I don't think I was meant to. Like, I just remember freaking out. Like, I can't believe I'm gonna wrestle in the ECW arena, and not only that, it's for the Women of Honor tournament to qualify. I think I got really in my head a lot. I was trying not to, but Brandy obviously got the better of me that match. Maybe I got a little too cocky, or I don't know. But Brandy, I think, doesn't get enough credit. I understand what people think of her and what they perceive of her from the previous company that she worked for. And she does have the stigma because she's Cody's wife. Whatever, I get it. Like, she's a beautiful girl, and people like, you don't need to wrestle, whatever. I hate that crap. she puts in the work. She picks up stuff so quickly, and she's amazing with the crowd. Like, she's just going to get better and better each match she has. And the fact that she was in Stardom and she completely broke her shoulder or collarbone in 2 places and did 2 more matches, if that doesn't speak to the heart that girl has and shut up the haters, I don't know what will. Because I would love to see anybody who sits on their couch and complains just get in a regular wrestling match and do what we do. But the fact that I don't think I could. I mean, I don't know. I would have sitting in there, but I honestly don't think I could do that. I don't know. I've never had to deal with something broken in the middle of the match. Knock on wood. But that is it just shows her heart and her pure like strength and grit to do 2 more matches with that injury. So yeah.
I got to say, as far as Brandy Rhodes goes, Stella, I mean, yes, it's a transition for her because, in the WWE she was a ring announcer, but now she's doing the transition. She was a wrestler. She's, doing her thing with you guys in Women of Honor, Stardom. She did her thing in Impact Wrestling. So she's really come a long way just from being that ring announcer, transitioning into the pro wrestler that she is now.
Oh, yeah, that's why I love that she does commentating, just because she is so well on the mic and her personality is amazing. But it's good to have she's been around wrestling for a very long time. She can call a match better than anybody else can too. So, but the fact that she could do that and then get in the ring, and yeah, I think it's very. I love that her and Cody are in Ring of Honor. I think, honestly, you have to admit, Ring of Honor has grown immensely in the last year or two, and you can't deny that has something to do with Cody and Brandy coming along. Yes, being the elite and all that stuff, that obviously is hugely part of it too. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, but I really think when Cody Rhodes came, he kind of got more eyes on Ring of Honor than previously. So him and Brandy, I think, and they're just the most giving and nicest people, and they are hard workers. If you ever see Cody at a meet and greet, he will stand there and talk to every single person. He really cares about every fan. He really cares about the business, and he really cares about Ring of Honor. So I just think we're very blessed and lucky to have them here with us, and I hope they stay as long as they want and they can.
I gotta say this as well. As far as opponents go, Brandy Rhodes, I did enjoy that match. I mean, like I said, you did unfortunately come up on the short end of the stick, but the effort that you put in, and I can tell you right now, you're definitely going to keep doing your thing. And Women of Honor, I'd love to see you as the Women of Honor champion in the near future.
Oh, I'm working towards that every day. There's a long line. I'm not naive. I know I'm the back of the line, but listen, you don't become a champion overnight. Sumi Sakai was in the first Women of Honor match ever, and God, how many years ago was that? That was back in 2002, right?
Yep.
So that girl had to put in work, and Sumi is an amazing champion. She's the most humble person I've ever met. She's one of the sweetest, nicest. She would give the shirt off your back even if she didn't know you. And she's professionally trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, so she can legit break your arm in 2 seconds. So the fact that she doesn't do that in a match is kind of nice for her. So, but if you ever mess with her, she could honestly do some seriously bodily injury. So honestly, I don't think anybody could have been more deserving of the first champion than Sumi. I'm very fortunate that I consider her a friend. She's kind of taken me under her wing a little bit. She trains at the dojo now, so I get to train with her whenever I try to as much as possible. I was just with her last night, honestly. And, she shows us how they train in Japan, and that is no joke at all.
I was actually going to bring that up because you've had the chance, besides just picking her brain and learning from that experience, because I think Sumi's been doing this for 20 years now. I mean, she started in 98, if my math is correct on that. Don't quote me on my math as well, but I think...
I just saw something where it said she debuted in night. I was like, she debuted in night? I didn't know that. I thought, 02. Not that's that many years, but still.
Hot damn.
Yeah, I would never guess.
But I'm just saying, you had the chance to team with her. You got a chance to go one-on-one with her. So I guess just get that experience on your level. And just what a better person than Miss Sumi Sakai.
I know. I believe it. I feel very grateful. And I if I don't, listen, like, nobody's perfect, and like last night I wasn't doing something right, and I was getting really frustrated, and then I felt like I was letting Sumi down, and then I felt like I was letting Cheeseburger down. But she's very encouraging, and she's like, it takes time, and it's a different style, but I get frustrated in the moment, but then like once I get home and I'm like, you just kind of realize that you're training with Sumi Sakai, who has a wealth of knowledge and experience, and she's the damn champion, for Pete's sake. Be grateful that you have this opportunity, because people would kill for it. So if you're not getting it, just keep showing up and doing it. That's basically what wrestling training is about. You're not going to do anything right off the bat, right? So just keep trying until you get it down and do it.
I talked to this individual yesterday. I'm going to bring her up in this interview form here today with you, Stella. Talk about the gladiator of the geeks, Riley Shepard.
I love Riley. Riley originally trained at the Monster Factory, and then she would not randomly, but like whenever she had free time, she would come to the dojo. I don't think she lived close to either of those schools. So the fact that she would come in was nice, and it was nice to have a girl around and actually train with a girl, and like, it's awesome. Her athleticism is insane. She does this T-bone suplex, and she can easily pick me. I could just be laying on the ground. She could easily pick me up dead weight and do it. But her kicks as well are insane, and I wish I could kick as high. She tries to get me to do it all the time. She's like, you can jump higher. I'm like, I really can't. I'm short. Listen, I don't think kicks are in my forte. I'll try, but no, she's amazing. She's a positive attitude too. I love the Gladiator of the Geeks. We did a tag for Future of Honor, and I just think it was funny. It was just like a juxtaposition of the Gladiator of the Geeks and then like Miss Cool Style. I don't even know. Like I look like a rocker chick in my leather vest, and then she's all geeked out, and I'm like, we could not look like more of an odd couple right now. I'm like. But it's like the cool kid hanging out with the geek, and we're going to bring two worlds together. So
yeah, you got a nice dynamic and a nice story there, so I get it. And what's great about it is, too, that photo has surfaced. Man, I saw her giving you that T-bone suplex, that exploder suplex. Man, that was a nice-looking suplex.
Yeah, she's good. She's really good at that. I don't think I've ever taken one before. I think she might have given me one at training before. Excuse me. But it was a while ago, and I don't remember it. And so I remember in the match, I was like, holy crap, all right. Yeah, I think Scott Lesh was a photographer. He's amazing with pictures. If I say his name right, I apologize if I didn't. But yeah, I think she posted that like on her Twitter or Instagram, and she tagged me, and I'm like, thanks so much. I appreciate you putting that out. Like, you throw me across the ring. Thanks. But no, she's really good. She's really good with that.
You talk about tagging with her. One of the girls, I believe, who was in that match, I wrote her down here, Tasha Steeles. You got to get in the ring there with Tasha Steeles. Talk about Tasha.
Oh, yeah. Tasha Steeles trains with Damian Adams, who also trained Karen Q and Deanna Peraza. So just talking about that caliber of women wrestling, it's a school of its own that kind of speaks for itself. So yeah, that was my first time ever wrestling her, and it was her and Bonesaw, and I'm like, God almighty, could we get a more intimidating pair, like, coming in? So yeah, I think it's like you look at her and you're like, well, she's petite, but she is strong, she is all muscle, and she's fast, and she's quick, she's athletic, and she's one of the strongest hitters. And her suplexes and everything too, like, and I don't know, she just has like a counter for everything too. She's amazing. I would like to get another match with her. She came around the dojo every once. I remember I was like, I was really, really new. I think I couldn't be more than like 6 months into training, and she was another person that was just very positive and like, you can do this. And I just think it's very fortunate for the girls to be very supportive of one another right now in the wrestling business compared to, I don't know how it used to be. I've heard rumors that there's like conniving and backstabbing, but every single person I've dealt with is just very supportive, and we just want to see each other all do our best, because we want the best matches, and if we want the best matches to put on to get on shows and to get more views or get more time on TV, then we need to make sure everybody's just raising their caliber. So Tasha was definitely one of them in the very beginning for me.
The way you talk about it, like going in there with Jesse Brooks and Tasha Steelz, like, man, it's kind of like how, look at how the Hardys and the Dudleys first came into WWF at the time in '99. Their first feud was with the Acolytes APA, and you're just like, man, I gotta go in the ring with Bradshaw and Farouk. So it's like, oh, what a first test. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where you're coming from on that aspect. And I gotta say this as well. You talk about Karen Q. You got to step in the ring with Karen Q as well. Talk about working with Karen. Karen's another amazing competitor in the Women of Honor division. Talk about working with Karen Q.
Karen, I love. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I really do love everybody. Unless I don't. Like I said, there's not one bad person I've come across, but Karen. Karen was there the day that I started learning bumps, so she's come to the dojo a couple times too. And I remember I couldn't do it. I wasn't getting it. I was getting frustrated. I kept hitting my head. They were worried I was going to get a concussion. I was going to knock myself out. There was one time I flipped and kneed my own self in the head. And they're like, well, you're flexible. That's good and bad, that you almost knocked your own self out. But she literally taught me how to do bumps. She literally had to yank my leg from underneath. But she was telling me it took her a while to learn how to do them too. So when I found out my first Women of Honor match was going to be with Karen, I was excited because I know Karen and I knew how supportive she was with me since day one, but I know what type of competitor Karen is, and I knew I was not on the same level as Karen, and so you get those nervousness, but she was saying, she's like, listen, you have this match for a reason, so don't sell yourself short. But if you think that I'm on a different level, then that just means you better bring it with me, and you better step up because which is true. I don't know. That match was a blur to me. God's honest truth. I was having panic attacks backstage because it was like one of the biggest shows Ring of Honor did at the time, and oh God, I literally did the camp the week before, and then did the Future of Honor taping, and had my first match, and then Women of Honor within a week to 2 week span. So it just happened really quick for me, and I was freaking out like I wasn't ready. Yeah, I'm proud of that match, considering that was my first, maybe my second, third match overall. But I didn't suck as bad as I thought I was going to, and that has a lot to do with Karen.
Well, one other opponent I'm going to get to, then we'll talk about the overall division. I want to discuss best in the world with you, but this opponent, I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, because this was another match I checked out of yours, and like I said, you're doing exceptional work, and this one I also enjoyed very much. Talk about working with Stacey Shadows.
Oh, yeah, I did. Stacey, I met before, I'm trying to remember, I think it was April of 2017. I think Ring of Honor had a show in Milwaukee or something, and we went to Beer City's school in Milwaukee, and I think she trained out of there for a bit, and then there was this other girl, Ciara, who's really big in the Midwest. I remember meeting her, and I don't even know if she was 18 at the time, and I was like, holy crap, this girl's really good, and she's not even 18. So they did a dark match in, I think it was Milwaukee or Minnesota. I think it was Milwaukee. And just watching these two girls, and I was like, that was the first time I saw them, and just that match was amazing to me. And listen, Stacey comes out with her gear, with her face mask, and if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, I don't know if that girl's going to survive that match, because that girl was young at the time. And then what was it, just last month? Yeah, they were like, oh, you have a match, and it's with Stacey Shadows. I was like, oh, okay. So it was nice knowing you guys. I had a good run. But she, again, I knew her from before. She was, again, a huge sweetheart, one of the most patient people ever. yeah, I knew I had to come in with a fight, and I literally, no, my normal repertoire of moves was not going to work with her. So I literally just thought, this is going to be a brawl, and I'm just going to have to fight her, and I'm just going to have to punch her, and because that's what it's got to get down to. Um, but yeah, I love that match. I really did. Even though it's laughable to see the size difference because she's taller and I'm 5'2" and obviously a little more petite. Yeah, but I still love that match.
You know, it's funny you talk about 5'2" and you're a little petite. Yes, the size difference with Stacey shouts on yourself. But I gotta say this: if Alexa Bliss can be 5 feet of Fury, you could be 5'2" of Fury if you want to. Cause yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That phrase, and I didn't have 5 feet of fury. I can't remember what's the other phrase she used.
Oh,
And I was like,
oh my
son of a,
god.
that was my phrase.
Oh my god, there was the goddess. I know she calls herself the goddess.
Oh,
No, the other. I know which one you're talking about. I can't think of it either. Now that's gonna have me bugged too.
used it in a while because I remember I used to say when I started the dojo, and they're like, you can't use that. I was like, why the hell can't I?
Alexa Bliss.
And the Alexa Bliss uses it. I'm like, well, she's like breaking 5 foot. I'm 5'2". So yeah, I remember. If I remember it at the end, I'll. Oh, God, I can't
We can
remember
come
my
back to it. It's okay. It's okay. Somebody book Alexa Bliss and Stella Gray. That was awesome. 5'2" of Fury and breaking 5 feet. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So let's get into. I want to talk about the Women of Honor division. Other women you've got to wrestle. Girls like Mandy Leone, Jenny Rose, Tennille Dashwood. And I got to say this because I remember Ring of Honor in the early stages with the women's wrestling. You had girls like Sarah Del Rey, Sarah Amato. You had girls like Daisy Hayes. You got Rain. You had Allison Danger. You had a lot of great girls. And just to see what the Women of Honor division has become, I love it. I love the addition of the Stardom talent, which we're going to get into as we talk about the PPV coming up. But man, I love the inclination of the Stardom talent and what you guys are doing in that whole Women of Honor division as a whole.
I know. I think it's crazy. Well, not crazy. It's coming into fruition what I think the vision for Women of Honor has been the whole entire time. But I think the fans are really behind it and they really want to see it. But the correlation with Stardom, I think, is great. Like Kelly Klein went over there, Scarlett went over there, Mandy went over there. Gabby did the Women of Honor tryout and she got to go over to Stardom. And the girls are coming over with the Women of Honor. Oh my God, them in that tournament. I just remember. I mean, it sucked that I didn't get to be a part of the tournament. But part of me was kind of glad because I like the fact that I got to be a fan and watch the tournament. Because that was some of the best women's wrestling I've seen in my life, and just amazing matches, and it's just the caliber is just growing and growing. And this weekend, I'm like super excited for this weekend. But I went on a tangent. I forgot my thought. What the question was? I'm sorry.
Oh, please, no, it was more of a statement because you had girls like Allison Danger, Sarah Del Rey, Daisy Hayes, Lacey, Allison Danger, and just to see what the Women of Honor division has become now, the inclination of the Stardom division. I mean, I'll even say this right now. I'll include a Best in the World match that we got coming Friday. We got Sumi Sakai, we got Jenny Rose, we got Mayu Iwatani, and we got Tennille Dashwood against Kelly Klein, Hazuki, Kagetsu, and Komura. Man, the division is just on fire.
I know that match is gonna be good. The whole entire weekend is gonna be great with matches. But it's great that women's matches are on pay-per-views. That never happened until oh my God, I don't want to be wrong with this, but I feel like Supercard was the first one with the women's title match. So the fact that we have women's matches now on pay-per-view is a huge accomplishment. But the fact that you can list that match and get excited because like, oh my God, that's gonna be a great match, and like it's just talented people, and that's just because the roster's deep with talented girls. I don't want to say girls, but women right now, and we're just proving like we can do it just as much and just as hard and just as entertaining as the guys, and we deserve this spot. And I think a lot of people are appreciating that and opening their eyes and seeing that too.
And what also is very cool about it, I gotta say this right now, I watch wrestling, I watch everything, the Ring of Honor, the WWE's, Impact Wrestling, New Japan, the whole nine. The thing about it back in the day is to see where the evolution of wrestling for women has come. Man, there's so many great talents, but the thing is, where it was a lot focused on bikini contests and bikini challenges, lingerie pillow fights,
Yeah.
etc., etc. So I gotta say right now, and the one thing I always enjoyed about Ring of Honor with the way the women is, the key element is they gave you guys time. Like with WWE, you have like a 4-5 minute match. It's like, what is this? Give the girls
Yeah.
time. They're beautiful, yes. I understand it. I know you look at the eye candy and you want to accentuate the beauty, but god dang, they can wrestle. Let them wrestle.
Yeah.
Give them time.
Yeah. I just looking at old matches with Sarah and like Mickey James was in there too, and Daisy. Wow, it was just way ahead of its time, and those women were super talented. And I wish some still are. I really wish Sarah was still wrestling because I've seen her matches, and she obviously is a trainer now, but they honestly did pave the way. So did Trish and Lita. I'm not going to say like different companies didn't have their own, but yeah, it's crazy how far it's come, and it's exciting to see where it's going.
And as I'm looking at this card here, I mean, we talk about but the main event is going to be electric. We have the triple threat for the Ring of Honor World Championship. We got Dalton Castle, we got Cody, we got Marty Scurll. You know it's going to be amazing. You have the inclination of the New Japan Pro Wrestling in here. You got the Kingdom's Matt Taven, TK O'Ryan, and Vinny Marseglia against Los Ingobernables de Japón's Bushi, Evil, and Sonata. I mean, Jay Lethal's going against Kushida. Hello. I mean, you got Punishment Martinez. Yep. We have Punishment Martinez and Adam Page for the television title in a Baltimore street fight. We got Austin Aries, who is a staple in Ring of Honor, defeated Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Championship, going against Kenny King. You got Flip Gordon, my God, Flip, against Bully Ray. The whole card is stacked. Yep.
It was nice knowing Flip.
You got to understand. Now, Flip Gordon, the first time I saw Flip was actually in New York. He wrestled for the New York Wrestling Connection. He wrestled a gentleman by the name of Rex Lawless. I saw what he could do, and I was like, man, this guy's going to be something. Then you see him on Northeast Wrestling. Then you see him in Ring of Honor. You see him doing his thing in New Japan. So, yeah, but against Bully Ray, do you know who I am? I mean, come on, it's Bully Ray.
Yeah, because Flip's known for the high flying. Clearly, Bully's not. And I don't think that Bully would have a problem picking Flip up. So it's very interesting. I don't know what it's going to bring, but it's Bully Ray, and I kind of have an idea. So it's going to be fun to watch. I don't know how well it's going to go for Flip, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Got to talk about Austin Aries coming back. Or you yourself, like I mentioned, Ring of Honor. Dude's been all over the world. Impact World Champ. Great to see Austin Aries come back, do that match with Kenny King.
I am super excited. I think it probably is I don't want to say it's right. I don't want to say it's the number one match. It kind of is though, just because of I always was a fan of not a crazy fan, but I always respected Austin Aries and seeing because let's be honest, Austin Aries isn't the tallest man. So the fact that he's that athletic and that talented and can do anything. Just I don't know, kind of was like, hey, well, just because you're short doesn't mean you can't do stuff. Because let's be honest, like WWE, it's so old school. It was like the big steroid-looking guys, and old school Ring of Honor, you had people like Austin Aries showing how great of a wrestler they were, technically wise or high flying or anything. I remember where were we? Chicago, and his match with Silas. That was one of the best wrestling matches, but some of the best, just entertaining wise, but storytelling as well. I loved every second of that match. I was literally like, I want him to be here with us full time because I just want to constantly see these matches. And so I'm super excited for him and Kenny. And Kenny's amazing. I think Kenny's very underrated of how talented he is. And listen, that's Kenny. He's got that charming smile. He's like a little ladies' man. Not little, obviously, but I mean, like, he's a ladies' man. He could make girl swoons with his little smirk. But he's very talented, and they're old buddies, so there's a lot of like emotion there and heart and definitely some hurt feelings. So I think it's going to be one. I think that might be a match that's going to, if not, the card's stacked, so it's hard to say what match is going to steal the show, but I have a feeling that's going to be definitely maybe one of them in the top three that's going to steal the show.
What I want to touch base on is, man, we talk about the stardom with the Women of Honor. Man, that partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling, get to see a lot of elements of New Japan on here because that's on fire. Chris Jericho, 10-time Intercontinental Champion, 1-time current IWGP Intercontinental Champion. So it's great to see that relationship as well, Ring of Honor and New Japan.
Yeah, I was dumbfounded when he won. I was like, whoa, this doesn't make sense. Like, anybody that's a fan of WWE never would think that's coming. So, yeah, I think he just has a totally different persona and character in New Japan, and it's something maybe artistically that really speaks to him. And I don't know, it's just something completely different, and it's really working, and it's great, and he's putting on some of the best matches of his life. And I don't even know how he's like in his 40s, isn't he? I think.
I will tell you right now because I think you're dead on that. And while I do that, I just got to say right now, man, it's great to see Chris Jericho doing this. And in a way, you got to think because he has the ties in there. He was a big staple in Japan as far as the '90s goes. I mean, with Mexico,
Yeah,
Lionheart, Corazon de Leon. So I mean,
yeah.
The dude's got the tie-in, and he's just rich history there, right there.
Yeah, but I think it's like later on in this game when I don't know, like I hate like age with wrestling, but some people would be thinking like, you should be like wrapping it up soon. And he's having some of the best matches of his life, and he kind of just completely rebranded himself. And listen, I think he could be doing it still for a very long time. I mean, he'll probably do it as long as he wants to. He has like different. He's an author and he's a rock star, and so.
And just for the record, Chris Jericho is 47 years old.
He's 47. I thought 42. Wow. But yeah, even AJ Styles is like 40 something, I think too. So, and AJ Styles is on top of his game too. So, listen, age is just a number. You got talent, athleticism. You can keep going as long as you want.
Okay. Scott Steiner's like 55, and he was just one half of the Impact Tag Champs. So Scott Steiner's still doing his thing.
Who is oh my God, PCO? Why am I feel like I'm messing up that name? He's like in his 50s and he's still wrestling.
Yeah.
Listen, Terry Funk was still wrestling. I think he maybe still is, and he's in the 70s.
Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler just had a match not too long ago. Might have been last year, but there you go.
Terry Funk has had like so many retirement matches.
Exactly.
He's like the Cher of wrestling.
You know I got to mention it though, and God rest his soul. But man, Dennis Stamp, Beyond the Mat, Terry Funk, Terry. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not booked. Terry.
Oh my God, that made me laugh so much. I didn't like. Now, that was an amazing documentary where it honestly showed you every aspect of professional wrestling in all different companies.
Yep.
Like that you don't see normally.
And I'm laughing. And you know what's funny about it too, Stella, is you laugh, I laughed, a lot of us laughed, but in a way you're kind of getting angry. It's like, Dennis, he's your best friend. He wants you to referee his match. What's supposed to be his last match, which we probably know he's going to probably come out into retirement again, like us. He's had so many. But it's like, dude, it's going to be his last match. Who cares if you're booked? He's your best friend. Do it.
Yeah, it's like, shut up, be grateful. I don't know. There are certain people like that, but
okay, I gotta tell you this story, Stella. I had Kelly on. I told her, have you ever seen? It was on MTV True Life. There were two ones that they did on wrestling. One was I'm a Pro Wrestler, which Les Thatcher was featured in, and the WWF at the time. You know, they documented the life of a professional wrestler. But have you ever seen the True Life I'm a Backyard Wrestler?
No, I did not. I'm kind of happy I didn't.
Oh,
why? I'm scared.
man.
I don't like hearing about backyard wrestling or like.
Okay.
Because I feel like ECW gets a stipulation with that because of the. I don't know. I feel like people try to tie ECW with backyard wrestling. So like anything that has to do with backyard wrestling, I kind of don't pay attention to. But
you got to hear me out on this.
Yeah,
you got to hear me out on this.
Some bad injury or something, or.
Well, I'll tell you right now. So for any of those who've seen in 2000, it's Mick Foley's on there telling yes, I did that video where I jumped off my roof, but I was properly trained. I was trained by Dominic DeNucci. Hello.
Yeah.
So they have one of these guys, the Cosmic Smasher, who's pouring his heart out why he does this. WCW sucks, WWF sucks, ECW sucks, and we're out here, we're putting our bodies on the line. And he's giving like this heartfelt speech, and then you find out why he's doing it. He goes, I do this for her. I do this for Emma, a.k.a. Baby Spice. And I'm like, no.
What?
I swear to God, he said this. I think he met her. I don't know, but I guess he wanted to get noticed by Emma Bunton, a.k.a. Baby Spice.
What the hell does the Spice Girls have to do with professional wrestling? No, I mean, like, no disrespect to them, but... And why would Emma... Do you notice a backyard? Whatever, to each their own.
Exactly.
That's your dream, that's your dream. I'm not going to rain on it.
And yes, there was
interesting. That's the way you went about it to get her attention, to become a backyard wrestler. That's a different way.
That is what it is. And the best part about it is, too, you got the fathers like, yeah, you know, they come off like it's real. And it's like, we only had a couple broken ankles. I'm like, wait a minute. You're actually taking pride in the fact that you only had a couple broken ankles and nobody really got seriously hurt. We just had some broken ankles. It's no big deal. Hey, broken ankle is a broken ankle.
Yeah, it is. I don't...
Yeah. So, and then the only one that came from it was like You Suicide, who was actually a wrestler in like XPW, and he did some stuff. And I believe now he's working in the post office, which, yeah, that was like the only like memorable one from what was like You Suicide. So,
wow.
So yeah, it's out there somewhere on YouTube.
So, I'm too afraid to watch now. Like I'm intrigued,
but you're like, no.
I'll just be like, I'll have nightmares about my own matches, like in a backyard or something.
Backyard. Oh my god! Well, they did have those backyard like video games back in the day that had ICP in them, the Insane Clown Posse. Friggin' Sanjay Dutt's in the video game. I'm like, what is Sanjay Dutt?
Really?
Yeah, you've never seen this? Oh my god! So
no.
There's like I think it's a backyard. I have to find it. I'll send you the link. So it's ICP.
So wait, let me get this straight. There's a backyard wrestling video game.
I swear to God, I'm dead serious on this.
What the frick? Where do these things go? Who, like, has the money to make these things happen?
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, because I can hear you. Okay, so there was Backyard Wrestling, Don't Try This at Home. For those who don't know, it was October 7, 2003 came out. And yes, I was correct. So here's who was in the game. Sabu, Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope, Madman Pondo, who was in JCW, Sabu, El Drunko, Tylene Buck, who was Major Guns in WCW, The Bone Doctor, who was in the WWF apparently, El Drunko, who, like I said, a lot of JCW guys, and I believe Sanjay Dutt was in there as well.
Wow. I was so not aware of this.
So they had it. They had it. I didn't have it. I know my buddies did. And when I heard that, I'm like, no, I'm not playing a backyard wrestling video game.
Yeah.
It's just like the time where, I don't know if you remember this, but this also came out in 2003. So the WWE at the time, this was early 2003. Are you familiar with Twisted Metal?
I feel like I should be, but I'm not. I'm drawing a blank.
It's one of those kind of like racing games kind of deals. So WWE had in their own fruition to try a game where it wasn't wrestling, where they were like blowing each other up with their cars. It was called WWE Crush Hour, and it was pretty much a blatant ripoff of what Twisted Metal was. So WWE tried to do something
I definitely don't know this, no.
Be happy you don't, because I'm going to say this right now. A lot of people consider WCW Backstage Assault as one of the worst video games for wrestling ever, which is, it's up there. But man, Crush Hour is up there too. It was bad. So, yeah, they tried. Like I said, all you can say is they tried something different, which you can applaud them on, but it's just like...
Yeah. So. You never know what will work. Some things might sound like the stupidest idea, and it's a multi-million-dollar idea. You never know. Okay. So it's don't fault anybody for trying.
The last one I'll mention of that is, do you remember Def Jam Vendetta?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Def Jam...
I hate that, like, a lot of wrestlers are, like, video gamers. I'm not, and I feel like I'm always out of the loop because my brothers never let me play. So I don't know how to play any video game, and I suck at it, so... Yeah, like at the dojo, we have, I don't even know the system they have. I think it's called the Cube. Never played it, ever. And yeah, all the boys play. I don't play. Everybody talks about video games. I'm just the odd girl out that's never played. So I'm not really
Stop it. You were fine. Games. Stop. Okay, so Def Jam Vendetta, there was a sequel. There was Def Jam New York. I think there was one base. There was a sequel to it. So Def Jam Vendetta was a game where there's a lot of rappers included in there, like Redman, Ghostface Killah. So it was pretty much rappers wrestling.
What?
Yes.
That I'd be interested in seeing.
All right, I'll send it to you. So I got to show you this. And it was actually a very good trailer because the trailer's still out there. It was actually a very good trailer, and it got you intrigued to want to play the game. So
yeah, well, clearly you just gave like the briefest description. I'm like, I gotta see this.
You gotta see it. you gotta see it. And it was actually, it was a great story mode. Like the guy gets hurt, and you're filling in for your boy, and then you got to go against all these rappers, and there's a twist and turn, so it's quite interesting.
That is interesting. I'll have to ask Cheeseburger if he's heard about the Cheeseburger's big in the video games. I'll have to ask him. If not, I'm buying it for the dojo, and I just want to watch you guys play.
Okay, so definitely tell the burger Def Jam Vendetta.
Yeah.
Just say Def Jam Vendetta. I'm sure he'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay, you should probably.
Okay. Yeah, but before we do close out, I'm going to say this right now. We covered a lot of ground here. We talked some wrestling video games. We talked ROH Best in the World. We talked about your career. And I'm going to say this with the utmost sincere respect to you. Just continued success going forward and just keep shining because I'm digging what you're doing. And I know there's going to be nothing but great things coming for you in the future.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
No problem. And I'll say this right now. Anytime you want to come back on this show, the invite's here. You're more than welcome.
Oh, definitely. I had a lot of fun.
So, I always like to ask this as well. So, as a professional wrestler yourself, any guys or gals that, want to get into the professional wrestling world and just in general that want to pursue a career in it, any advice?
Oh, God, yeah. We actually just got a female student in the dojo, and she has a lot of heart and very positive attitude right off from the beginning. And I'm like, wow, I don't even need to be this girl's cheerleader. She's her own cheerleader. But it's I say from the get-go, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck a lot in the beginning, but you're just gonna just grit down, get through it. It's all about seeing if you have heart, and as Will used to say, he's like, you have the the fighter mentality. Like, you're willing to fight, you're willing to sweat and be in pain and not give up. As long as you don't give up and you put in the work. I always say, just always be humble, always be nice to people. That's always what I've dealt with. That's always what I try to still be with everybody that I come across. I there's never been a reason where I have to be rude or mean to anybody, at least not that I'm aware of. And if I have, I apologize to somebody. But yeah, help out at shows too. That's how you get that's honestly how I feel like I got where I was so quickly, because I went to as many shows as I possibly could, and I worked doing ring crew or helping in any way and busting my ass during the shows to help out, and it gets noticed. So if you put in the work, you train, and you be humble, don't have an attitude or anything, and you come to shows and you're willing to help out, you're gonna get noticed. They're gonna see you. They're gonna be like, oh, that's a person, girl, guy that always is here and helping. You know what? We need somebody tonight. Do you want to? That's honestly how it happens. You just need to put in the work and put yourself out there, and you'd be amazed at the opportunities you get.
And I'll say this right now. I actually have to mention this to you. So, wrestling book came out not too long ago, and you talk about how you hate people, bad mouthing the business and saying, okay, if you're going to sit on your couch and do this, why don't you get in the ring and do it? The book has come out. The band's a legend. The clip is infamous. Don't Call Me Fake by Dr. D. David Schultz. The book is out now. For those that do not remember, Dr. David Schultz was the one back in the 80s who slapped the bejesus out of John Stossel live on 2020 for calling the business fake.
Yes! Oh, I remember that clip. I don't know where I saw it, but that was like the slap that could be heard from every wrestler in the world. I don't know. Yeah, it was a really old clip. I don't remember where I saw it, but I do vividly remember that clip, and I'm like, yes! Don't tell me it's fake. You don't know all the injuries I've had and all the crap I've had to put through, and
I was very behind Dr. D. David Schultz for slapping him like that. And the thing is, too, he could have worded it better. But, he didn't.
That's the thing. The guy was very condescending and rude about it. If you want to question or have questions about the business, that's fine. But don't act like you're better than us or whatever because of the profession that we chose. That has nothing to do with wrestling. That has to do with anything in life. Don't ever, ever put yourself above other people because of what they do. That's so disrespectful and ignorant, and that's not how the world should work. Everybody should be working together, and you do what it does happy. As long as you're not harming other people, it doesn't matter. If what you're doing makes you happy and it's betterment for the world, and you do something completely opposite and you're happy, that's fine. Why do people have to judge or kind of speak it just so yeah, that clip spoke a lot to all of us.
Have you now, besides that clip, have you actually seen the whole documentary of him back in the 80s? Because I'm sure the footage is out there.
No, I didn't know there was a full documentary.
Okay, so before this, he asked like this dude who was retired, which I understand. Retired people, just get out of it. It is what it is. So guys talk about, yes, I've had injuries, but yes, and he asked him if it was predetermined. He actually said the word predetermined. He didn't use the F word. He was very polite about it, but yes, we do get hurt. But I guess John Stossel, what stuck out in his brain was that he pretty much said like, oh, he admitted that the guy even spoke before, but the business is a work, and it's predetermined and it's fake, and it's like, John, but that, and he's like, oh, and then if you actually see it, they shoot back to Barbara Walters after they showed the footage of him running away like a scared little biatch from Dr. D. David Schultz, and he goes, oh, my ears are ringing, I still have hurt in my ears from where he slapped me in the ear. It's like, well, John, you said something stupid, all right? You shouldn't have said what you said, all right? You don't see me coming over here and telling, like, whatever Joe Schmo is, whatever work that they do, like, oh, that's fake and that's bullcrap. TV shows, most of the stuff that you see on TV is scripted. Friends, one of the greatest shows that a lot of people love, is scripted. A lot of crap that you see on TV is scripted. So just because, like, you want to look down upon pro wrestling, get in the ring and tell me if it's fake. That's all I got to say. And like I said, this is coming from someone who, yes, I know I'm not a professional wrestler, but I interview a lot of great people like yourself, Stella, and I respect the guys and gals in the business, so that's why I say this is my little admiration for you guys.
I appreciate anybody that respects it. We appreciate.
Exactly.
It's laughable when people do, and you see like internet trolls and stuff like that, and everybody has their own comments and their opinions, and you do mostly laugh it off, but like there are some that like seed through, and you're like, what the hell? Like, who are they? And why are they saying this crap? But you really do have to take a step back. Like, if that person honestly just did one solid day of what we did, their minds would be changed. So whatever they need to think to make their day better, let them have it.
Yeah, and I guess that is where we'll leave it at that. Now, I'm actually going to step back here, Stella, because we covered a lot of ground here. I'm very happy with how this turned out. So I'm going to step back. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, upcoming events with Ring of Honor, best in the world. Plug it. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, Instagram and Twitter is the same. It's at Stella Gray 215. 215 is the Philly area code. That's why everybody wonders why that number's there. Because I don't know who Stella Gray is that stole my name, but I had to add my 215 on the end of that. Facebook is regular Stella Gray. This weekend I will be in Baltimore and Virginia for the Best in the World weekend with Ring of Honor. The next show I believe I have coming up, oh God, I should have wrote this down. I think it's Aspire. It's Aspire and PWE, July 15th in Somerdale, New Jersey, I believe. It's will be my 1-year anniversary with the same company I debuted with, so it's going to be a very awesome feeling. And then I think after that is Nashville and Atlanta. I think it's July 20th and 21st for Ring of Honor as well. If I forgot anything, I think August hasn't been determined yet, so I won't go that far.
I'll say this right now. I actually do like how you add the 215 to your social media because you're representing where you're from, and it also reminds me of the great Rey Mysterio with Booyaka Booyaka 619 because you see 619 represented, and if you want to pretty much equate it to what we have nowadays, it reminds me of NXT where one Liv Morgan used to come out and rep New Jersey and the whole So
I was like, well, I don't like come to the ring. There was one time where. Where was it? I think there was supposed to be a tag match with me and Jenny, and then I think it got switched around. I think it did. Yeah, it was supposed to be me and Jenny. I can't remember who we were supposed to go against. And I'm like, listen, we're going in the ring. We're repping 215. We're doing the hand signal. And then the match got switched around, and I got so upset because I'm like, I just really wanted to do my hand signal.
So I'm going to tell you right now, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you tonight. Repping the 205, repping the original ECW. I ain't even mad at you for it because it's just a whole lot of greatness. And I know, like I said, you getting teased for it, but that's a whole lot of greatness there. So I'm right there with you. So Stella, any final words for your fans?
Just keep watching because the best is yet to come. I am trying everything I can with different training, and I hired a personal trainer because I'm trying to get big like Kelly Klein and Bonesaw and throw people around with the greatest of ease. So, listen, I'm not going anywhere yet, and I'm not leaving until I see that belt around my waist. So, keep watching.
And Ms. Gray, keep shining, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes again. And once more, it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to having you back on.
Thank you. I would love it.
Alrighty, so guys, this will conclude another interview. My name is Mike Larkin. For Stella Gray, we're out of here.